Jason Bryan. I'm CEO of ROCCO Research, and I'm really happy to present to you the position that we have these days regarding A2P SMS. So we've been doing, as you're probably aware, a number of research studies in the past years. I wanted to tell you that we've been doing these vendor benchmarking reports for 6 years now. I'm always excited to do them because this is clearly an industry where there are a lot of aggregators going on. There's a lot of aggregators, not so many global aggregators, but a lot of national aggregators. And it's always interesting to get a handle on, let's say, which are the best ones to use internationally. So on top of this, there's not really a governing body or standards to certify the quality control of aggregators. So it's really important for us to understand better who are the quality aggregators in the market and the quality vendors. So since 2015, ROCCO Research has been helping to answer the question, which aggregator, which vendor, and why? So as you can see from the presentation here, and now I'm going to use my my lightsaber. I hope everybody likes my lightsaber. I'm going to have a lightsaber duel later, but for now, I'm on my own. Okay. So the purpose of the messaging piece is always to look, let's say, from the enterprise perspective. And here's a transportation company from France. They have explained in no better way possible, I think, the point from an enterprise perspective of A2P SMS. There are two sides to this. Users want to have a notification the fastest possible way with the channel that they prefer. And we want, as an enterprise, to send the cheapest notification with the most relevant channel fastest. So this is one perspective from an enterprise on what is important for A2P SMS. To recap on the reason that we do our research, it's, from our perspective, try to understand, of course, which is the best vendor. And the reason this started out is because we were being consulted as ROCCO on which vendors in the market should we use. Mobile network operators were asking us this, and enterprises also started to ask us. And to be honest, as a consultant, I can give you my perspective, but it's better, much better, to have a wider perspective to get an opinion from customers and clients themselves. So which is the best vendor? We've been answering this question in our research, in our benchmarking research for 6 years through the opinions of operators, and now in the last couple of years through the opinions of enterprises too. The second point is to reduce effort for MNOs and enterprises. We all know that getting outsourcing, getting a vendor to do work for you, you have to choose the vendor, but you also have to put implementation in place. It takes a long time. And it's also something that might change if you want to change vendor in some scenarios. So to reduce the effort for MNOs and enterprises a little bit towards what we try to do with our research. We also want to help vendors. How can we help them? Well, we give them visibility, of course, but it's also the competition analysis. So here in this research, you're able to see on over 30 KPIs how you're perceived to be performing by the market. So whether it's on reliability, whether it's on trust, or whether it's on one of the specific attributes of an A2P SMS vendor, it's interesting, always interesting feedback to have a view on that. And so in terms of competitor analysis, which is quite a common requirement if you're doing your strategy as a company, it's a really good guide. And one of the key things I would say is that since companies change, the leadership in companies changes all the time, there's mergers and acquisitions. One of the real values of having competitor analysis is knowing how a vendor is performing in that moment, because there's brands, there's vendors, but it's also, it's about people and which people are there at the top, pulling the strings, making it happen. It changes every year. And so it's really important to understand, and this is why we do this research annually. So we also bring an independent perspective with this research. We want to be able to design the research ourselves. We want to give the answers, the truth of the situation. And this is really important for us. So independent perspectives is important. And then also unsponsored research. We don't have any sponsors for our research, and we never have. And this is majorly important because sponsors, as you well know, often influence the results. But more than that, is the commercial model we have is simply that you buy a report if you're interested, and you're not subject to, let's say, a sponsor's perspective. So this is a really important aspect for us. We're also finally providing free insights. So anybody who takes part in our research always gets an executive summary report. And this is really helpful to get a general view. So we don't want you to give your opinion for nothing. We always like to get your opinion, and we also like to give you also something in return. So this is some of the main objectives of ROCCO research. So to our methodology, I'll just go through this quite quickly, but it's really clear that we have a process. We design our survey, and we always make a small change to the survey every year to try and adapt on the feedback we got from the previous year's research. So we're always looking to make a better research report year on year. That's our aim. And now in the 6th year of the M&O research, we really have got a good handle on who all the contacts are in the industry, and if they change position, how they change their perspective from one year to the next. So if I have a contact in Vodafone, I ask on that contact if they're still doing the job, and I ask them, to complete the survey again. We know the differences that they perceive in the market. So this is the value of having that data. So promoting it is a key part. We always promote on social media across all of our channels. And we also contact the individuals who took part in the research every year and ask them what they think. And then also to validate the results. And I think this is the major point here, is in validating the results, we're looking to understand, is an operator completing this? Is an enterprise completing this? And what I mean by this is that, of course, from time to time, a vendor will enter the survey and just to check it out. But sometimes a vendor will enter the survey to manipulate the results. So we're looking to identify through special means the respondent to the survey to understand, is it legitimate? We take this extremely seriously. We're in this to get truthful answers. It's really important that we do that. And I think, when I see a respondent to our research where the person has put all 5s out of 5 in every category, it rings an alarm bell. I'm thinking, okay, what, don't have any more detailed opinions? No, what I'm looking for in this research is I'm really looking to understand with integrity what you think, not that this company is great at everything. So that's what we also look for. We analyze the data, it goes into analysis, and basically we're looking to identify any anomalies. We are looking through the data for a few days to assess which are valid responses. And then we produce our reports. And we're moving into a new report style these days. So a lot of our reports are in a new, more interesting design, let's say. And we're attempting to do this for all of our research. And so producing the report is a much bigger effort than it was before. It's requiring, a lot of careful design, and to be sure that what we're presenting is really clear and for you to see. And then we announced the results. And last year, if you attended our event on A2P SMS at the Churchill War Rooms, you'll have seen that we gave awards. And that's really important to us. And we know there are a lot of award ceremonies in the industry, but we also know that people think our awards are mean a bit more than those other awards. In that the process and our methodology is so much more strict. So we can't give awards this year, unfortunately. We're in lockdown, but we're trying to see as soon as possible when we'll have that opportunity to meet the aggregators in the market and to give them their awards. It's super important to us. So the final stage is to announce the results, and obviously we do that across social media, and we announce the the aggregators. And we're so happy that you're here today, so that we had a chance to give you some feedback on these results today. Thank you for joining. One point is around identifying vendors, and obviously this is changing a lot. There's mergers and acquisitions, but there's also a lot of new vendors, and companies come to us literally every month. When are you going to start this research? Can I be involved? We don't have any limitation on vendors being involved. Any vendor can be part of the research. And if your name is not on the list, then anybody participating in the research can simply put other, and they can add a vendor to the research survey, which we will identify and look at later. So we have a vendor directory on our webpage, ROCCOresearch.com, and there you can see a lot of the vendors with a little write-up about each one. So that's a good way to get involved in our research. Also, we look at the GSMA listings. Of course, there's some hubs are mentioned there, etc. We look on the web. We always have a scout around the web to kind of see if there's any other companies we should be interested in. And of course, MNOs and enterprise inform us by using the other function in our survey. And we're able to then get insights. Okay, there's a new provider in Mexico, or there's a new provider in Singapore. And so we have quite a lot of intelligence about the vendors in the industry. I have to say, when we create our report, it's a very thorough report, but we're really touching the surface of what data we have in this market to understand the regional differences and to understand all the companies who are playing in the market. And what's really important is to identify the right people. We are often spot checking who's completed what. It's quite normal for this research. It's extremely important. So as I said before, in the 5 to 6 years that we've been doing this research, we have a good handle on who's doing what position. Of course, some people leave mobile operators, they join vendors, and vice versa. So it's always something we have to watch out for. But I have to say now we're building a real story about the different vendors, the different respondents in the market, what they think and who they like. So now I'd like to recover some insights from our enterprise report, which is being published next week. The enterprise report, I'm going to tell you some insights that we found from the research, but also I'm going to announce the tier ones that we have uncovered this year. So some numbers about this research. This year we had 315 enterprises take part. It's a bit more than last year, in a few more countries. So certainly the respondents are diversifying. They rated 50 vendors, and there was all kinds of ratings. Now, you'll know if you take part in our research or aware of our research that any size company, any size aggregator can appear in our reports. It's not about how big your company is, how many staff you have, or how many offices you have around the world. We're just looking for small companies or large companies who have clients who want to respond to our survey. This way, it's very democratic. Everybody can. So if there's a up and coming vendor, we're also interested to hear from them. And to get, if they have clients, they just need 5 votes in our research to be included. And those 5 votes obviously are really important, what the scores are. So a lot of companies, they reach out to us towards this time of year saying, am I appearing in your report? Did I get 5? And we're happy to share that information. We know that it's sometimes hard, especially this year, to get the right number of participants. But as you can see from this enterprise report and also the MNO one, we had a very typical response to our research. So this year we have 4 tier 1 vendors, 4 companies, some ones that you'll have seen in previous years, and some ones which are new to the tier 1. So that's interesting. And the highest score of all of those vendors was 4.58, which is out of 5. So this is the overall average score on which we rank all the vendors in our research. So in the report itself, obviously the tier 1s are also ranked, and you can see which ones are in number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 position in terms of tier 1, and then also tier 2, tier 3 accordingly. So it's really super important to us that we promote all of the vendors in the market for doing a great job, but also we provide some competitor analysis to vendors who want to see where they rank. Some feedback from this year's report, and it's interesting to see that this is enterprises, and they're voting on different messaging options in the industry that we know of, and they're giving them their customer satisfaction perspective. So you can see here A2P SMS in the second block along. It's basically, here you can see how it's performing, and also here you see video, which was the top ranked for customer satisfaction this year by enterprises. And also RCS is in there. That's great to see as well. Chat apps, we think this is a really good perspective on customer satisfaction. There's a lot more data in the report, but this is just an overview. In terms of ease of use, enterprises clearly think that A2P SMS is still of major importance to in terms of ease of use. It's the simplest solution according to these enterprises, and you can see here the other opinions on RCS and the other type of solutions there. We found that very interesting. We also did this study from an MNO perspective, and that's appearing in the MNO report. On trust, clearly A2P SMS still the most trusted by enterprises as a messaging solution. And yeah, you can see some of the other opinions there on how they were ranked. So basically any enterprise could choose as many of these messaging options as they wanted and say whether they thought they were trustable. We also have here profitability, and on the profitability side, SMS still perceived to be the most profitable by enterprises. So that's really interesting to see. And finally, we have evergreen. So what we mean by evergreen is what is the longevity of these messaging solutions as perceived by enterprises? So how long do we think that these different solutions, and here you see, of course, A2P SMS is not expected to last forever, but it still has some good longevity to go, as James mentioned in his presentation. So now we'd like to turn to tell you about the A2P SMS tier 1s for enterprises. And so I'm going to go through the 4 tier 1s for the enterprise research. And the first one is a new one to our tier 1 category for enterprises, and that is Orange. And what an enterprise. Yes, congratulations to Orange. A big round of applause for them. Wonderful. And this is what an enterprise has said about Orange. We have experienced a great service across many channels through Orange. So the research contains a lot more comments from enterprises, but this is a really great result for them. Congratulations goes to Orange. The next one is Tata Communications. Congratulations goes to Tata. And of Tata, an enterprise said, fantastic vision, implementation and reach. We love working with Tata. Fantastic. Well done, Tata. The third one is Infobip. Congratulations to Infobip, who also appeared in our research last year. A wonderful result for them. Congratulations. Of Infobip, an enterprise says, Infobip has been able to resolve most of our messaging challenges by offering best practice solutions in the most professional and reliable way. So a great endorsement of their work. Fantastic results, guys. And the final one is Twilio. Congratulations to Twilio. So Twilio has highly programmable, an enterprise has said of Twilio, Twilio has a highly programmable API, which our developer team appreciates a lot. Fantastic work. So now we go to our MNO section. And in the MNO section, these are the numbers for this year. We had 353 MNOs give their responses in 131 countries. They rated 50 vendors and revealing 6 tier ones this year. We've had 6 tier ones before. This is quite common, and it's growing. The number of tier ones seems to be growing. But that's another fantastic result. The highest is 4.53 out of 5 for this. So a great result there. And some insights coming from this research now. So clearly there's challenges for A2P SMS, and from the MNO perspective, the biggest challenge remains to be, and it stands out, is of course grey routes. It's never gone away. It's something that's still a major issue for all the MNOs who are taking part in this research. As you can see, that's a lot of opinions, and it's clearly the number one. On monitoring and filtering, this is the second challenge. Of course, we know from a filtering perspective or a firewall perspective, there are some great SMS firewall vendors in the market, and we saw from our research that we concluded earlier on this year that basically there's a number of great providers in that space. Regulations is another key challenge, the regulations from country to country. And the final one is security issues. So we also had some more feedback from MNOs on the other challenges they have. And this is just a taster. There's a lot more information on in the report itself. But the first challenge, the biggest challenge we face is around the fluctuations in pricing across various vendors, said one MNO. And then on the second point is, I think a big challenge is the different situation in each country in terms of prices and regulations. So it's important to make more innovations to keep current profits. I think one of the key things here is that we also have tomorrow, we're presenting our innovators research, and you'll see some aggregators also in the top 10 for that research tomorrow. Where innovation has to keep going, we have to keep moving this forward, and so that was great to see innovation mentioned there, and definitely MNOs need that. Then the biggest challenge is in the future to keep the engagement between OTTs and MNOs via aggregators in order to continuously use SMS A2P as the #1 method of verification for the long-term implementation. So that's of major importance to clearly the MNOs. No presentation on messaging is worthy without at least a mention of RCS. And I'd really like to share with you some views on RCS. We have a lot of views in our report this year. In both reports, we included a perspective on how many companies were using RCS and what their challenges were. So we found out that 35% of MNOs in the survey are working with RCS right now. They didn't say if they're in trial or implementation stage, but that's a little bit up on last year for sure in the same research that we did. And it's in accordance with our RCS market intelligence report we did at the end of last year. What these MNOs said is RCS is useful, but without standardization to reach massively all users in all terminals, Android and iOS, SMSC and satellite push still are better. That's their perspective. Another perspective on the challenge of RCS was getting enterprises to use it, getting enterprises to trust it. And I can tell you the take up on RCS is a little bit lower than the MNOs for the enterprises because they're still getting used to the new opportunity and challenge of RCS. But overall, a very positive response. A lot of MNOs extremely happy to enter the RCS world. They believe it's got a better customer experience and brings scope for new business. So that's a really positive message to end on in terms of RCS. So now we'd like to present the MNO Tier 1s for 2020. And as I mentioned before, there are 6. And this is a great result. A lot of great companies operating in the market. So let's go to them. So the first Tier 1 we found this year is Sinch. Congratulations to Sinch. Yeah. Thanks for clapping, everybody. Yeah, that's wonderful. Congratulations to Sinch. As an MNO said, they understand their business and their customers and continuously strive to improve on this. So congratulations to Sinch. They've appeared in our reports a few times in the past. So that's a fantastic result. Now for the next one, and it's Infobip. Congratulations to Infobip. Congratulations, Infobip. We have seen Infobip, of course, in Tier 1s in previous years, and this is a fantastic result. So what an MNO said about Infobip is Infobip have proven to be an extremely reliable partner for us. The platform is very robust and user-friendly, and the team in Infobip keep us updated on any new developments. Fantastic. And the third one is Root Mobile. The Root Mobile appeared in Tier 1s once before. Congratulations, Root Mobile. And of Root Mobile, an MNO says, I believe Root Mobile is one of the most competitive companies in the A2P SMS business. They're very persistent and follow through with any commitments they make. Their SMS volumes continue to grow and have proven to be beneficial to the company. So that's fantastic. Congratulations, Root Mobile. So that's 3 down, 3 more to go. And let's see who the next one is. It's Cineverse. Cineverse, congratulations to Cineverse. Woo, great. All the claps, fantastic. Of Cineverse and MNO said, improving all the time. We always find Cineverse highly responsive and looking at our interests with all their knowledge and competence. So that's fantastic. We had Cineverse in Tier 1 before in the past, so it's great to see them back here again. Tata Communications, also for Enterprise and also for MNO, fantastic results. Congratulations go to Tata, and a big clap for them. So of Tata, and MNO said, Tata Communications is the best known brand for A2P SMS messaging and has considerably grown in a short span of time to become a leader in A2P SMS messaging. That's a great, fantastic result. So well done to Tata. And then the final one that we have is Tintec. Congratulations to Tintec. So an MNO said of Tintec, I like their flexibility and the good communications with their people to solve any question or issue. So guys, those are the tier ones for 2020. Congratulations to all the vendors who appeared in the report. As I said, we had 50 and many of them had great responses as well. There's a tier 2 category with a lot of vendors in there, which is, it's really heartwarming to see how many vendors are doing a great job these days. So we wish success to all, and congratulations to the tier 1s. For your information, our reports on A2P SMS look like this, and they're being published next week. We're working on them right now. And there's a lot more information in than you can see. Obviously, all of the vendors are ranked, but all of the KPIs for all the vendors is listed there. So you really get a much wider perspective on which vendors are doing well. And also, just to remind you that we did a great RCS report last year. A lot of vendors took part in that research. We interviewed the vendors. We got a lot of different perspectives. What was really neat about this was that, of course, the vendors didn't know what each other was saying. So there was a lot of intelligence coming from different sides. And you can really tell looking at this report which vendors have a true handle on RCS and are working very hard on it. So I found that we asked some, let's say, tricky questions in this report that we haven't really seen asked before. And I think that that's what makes it pretty unique, is the independent way that we approached it. So I want to just remind you that there's this report, and thanks to all the vendors who took part in that. It was a really special result. So thank you very much for attending this session. In case you have any questions, please let me know. You can either raise your hand, or you can type a question into the chat there, and we'll try to deal with all your questions. I can see some vendors in the audience, but I guess they're still taking in the news. But congratulations, everybody. I don't see any questions, but if you have any questions later, you can either let us know. You can either contact me also, jason@rocco.group. Thank you so much for your patience with this little experiment we're conducting. This is a bit of a different experience, and what's great to see is that everybody's really doing a good social distancing, even in the virtual world. Congratulations to the winners.